welcome to the Partnership Publishing Podcast. Today we're joined by Connie Rey. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
It's, it's very exciting to be here.
Thank
Bit
you.
nervous,
Yes,
but no, it'll be fine. It's fine. But thank you for having me.
and breathe. Yes, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. We have known each other for a while now, and your first book, The Adventures of Binky and Mango, Mango's Big Surprise, has been out. And so it is well overdue a conversation with you to discuss the lovable, curious creatures that you have created and the book and how well it's doing. So for those that are listening, and joining us today. Connie, if you don't know, is an educational psychologist with more than 20 years of experience supporting children and families. And she brings that expertise beautifully into her storytelling. It is what we at Partnership Publishing and Magic Moon Publishing fell in love with. Um, in this gentle and heartwarming tale, we, the readers, we meet Mango, who's a beautiful, sensitive cat whose world is turned upside down. And when an energetic new kitten named Binky arrives unexpectedly. So through friendship, courage, um, change, reassurance, and love, um, Connie, you explore themes of well, ultimately, that many children and parents will instantly recognise. I think that's safe
Yeah,
to say.
I think so.
So, on this very warm day, welcome. And I guess let's begin. Um, where did this idea come from? Like, where did it begin?
Do you know, it was quite a strange way that it started, to be honest, because when I started thinking about, well, actually, where did Binky and Mango come from? It was just bizarre because they somehow just one random day just ended up in my head. And I just thought, oh, what's this about? I think it came from the fact that I was actually in a bit of a turning point in my career, and I was thinking, "Do you know, I want to do something different. And what could that be? And then all of a sudden, just very randomly, I started getting this picture in my head of two little cats. Now, it wasn't completely random, if I'm if I'm completely honest, because I had two little cats, so they were actually probably loosely based on two very real cats, who sadly both have gone to Rainbow Bridge now. But they were called Mojo and Kiki, and they were my cats. Well, I think I had them both for in combination about 18 years.
Wow.
And I think these little two characters came in my head, but those personalities of Mojo and Kiki, they kind of mapped on quite nicely to those characters. So Mojo was a ginger cat who was very sensitive, beautiful cat, absolutely beautiful. He would sit with you, and it almost felt like he was on your lap. He would take all the
Oh.
negativity away. And Kiki, who we called Cheeky Kiki, need I say
That
more,
very reason. Yeah.
mapped beautifully onto Binky.
Wow.
So it sort of all came together really from that. And I'm not really sure. Sometimes these things just happen, don't
They
they?
do.
They come from nowhere. But when I think back to my childhood, even as a little girl, I used to spend hours and hours reading stories with my grandmother, and writing stories with my grandmother. She was very much, she loved books, and I don't know if you remember. Sometimes you'd buy books and there were loose pages in the back of the book,
Mhm.
and if we didn't like the ending, she would insist on writing a different ending, and we'd
Wow.
spend hours just writing different stories. And I think, I mean, I loved that as a kid,
Mm.
but when you get onto the whole work treadmill and years go on, you kind of forget. Actually, I used to really enjoy that. That used to bring me joy. And it just came back to me one day, and I thought, I'm going to write a book. And so I did. So there we are.
That's incredible. It's so fascinating. I still, like 15 years in, I absolutely love finding and speaking to writers becoming authors. of the origins, because a lot of the time, yes, we draw on life experiences, real life. I think that's very natural. Um, but also just going back to those when you remember, and if you did deep dive, it goes right back to your own childhood. And I think having that experience with your grandma, I mean, what a legend.
Yeah.
How
And
incredible.
I tell you what, I don't know if I held the book up. I even put a picture of my grandmother at the front of the book.
You did. Yeah,
And that is who, oh, I don't
that's
know who.
amazing. Yeah, there you
Again, with her
go.
two cats, who were Minnie and Thomas, because she was a cat lady as well. Um, and yeah, I suppose some of the inspiration perhaps came from her as well.
Oh,
Bless
no.
her.
Oh, well, beautiful. It's just got a real nice feeling of synergy there. And especially, you can just tell that that inspiration's been around you for your whole life as well.
Mm, mm,
I think that's what we found when we was reading Binky and Mango, even on initial submission. It was that relatability. It was as if we'd known the characters because they were so real. How did you find like creating such relatable characters? Like with Mango, we touched on this a moment ago, but there is that little bit more of that sensitive character there, and we explore those themes, but it's incredibly relatable.
mm.
How did you find that?
Creating a sensitive character.
Mm,
I think, to be honest, that again, obviously the inspiration did come from Mojo, the
yeah,
original Mango, a
yeah.
little because he was very, very different from Pinky, as
Mm,
obviously Mango is from Pinky.
mm,
And it's great to celebrate that difference, isn't it? Because we're
mm,
not all the same.
no,
It would be a very boring world if we were. But
mm,
to me, that sensitivity or that high sensitivity trait, I think it's probably been all around me. Because when I think back,
yeah.
I'm probably still am a highly sensitive person.
Mm,
Um, so it was just completely natural to
quite
me. I
natural.
mean, when I look at my family, although they might not like me saying this, but there's lots of highly sensitive people in my family as
Yeah.
well. So for us, it's it's the norm, and change is quite a scary thing.
Mm,
Obviously, change being the theme of the book. It can be quite a scary thing for lots and lots of people. And I just thought, well, we need to normalize this and think about what are the best ways of supporting people with the sensitivity trait,
yeah.
but change in particular in this particular book.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that through animal, through play, through adventure, it's just brilliant. Do you feel that you mentioned earlier you had a change of course, change of direction within your professional capacity, and that unlocked this writing for you? Do you think that your experiences, your years, obviously your childhood, but do you think in a professional capacity your experience has helped the writing?
Mm.
Do you feel that it's it's helped your experience has influenced perhaps the messaging, the reason for your books?
Totally. Yeah. I definitely think that's true. I mean, we know, I mean, there's lots out there now, you've only got to look on social media, but lots and lots of children are struggling with emotional regulation.
Mhm.
And there is such a need out there to provide books for children to help them act a little mirror back to them, perhaps some of the things they're thinking and feeling and
Mm,
experiencing,
mm,
but also putting the right tools out there for the parents.
mm.
It's so helpful when you've got something that you can say, oh, I'm experiencing this with my child. I'm not sure where to go or how to explain this to them. So just picking up a book that they can actually say, let's read this book together. Especially when you've got animals as characters, it takes the pressure off the child. Sometimes if you've got a human character, it's too close, it doesn't feel safe to explore. But I suppose if you use the animals, you're creating that psychological distance. Um, and even though you've got a really lovable character there that's clearly struggling with something, it's fine because for that child who might be struggling with the same thing, that character becomes a safe shield, if that makes sense. So
Completely. Yeah.
yeah, so it I think there will always be a need for books that help children with their emotional regulation. But I wanted to make it slightly different in that what I've noticed with a lot of books that are addressing this issue, um, there's lots of valuable material out there, but there's lots around um, sort of promoting self-regulation, so helping the child to draw on strategies to help themselves, which is absolutely great. You know, teaching children things like breathing techniques or sensory regulatory techniques. There's lots of stuff out there, meditation and things like that. But when a child is distressed, they can't often draw on some of these things that we are teaching them.
Mm,
And what I wanted to put in the book is a message that, you know, sometimes the simplest things you can do is just stop, stay calm, and be with your child. The presence is so important. So the focus with the book that Brenda does beautifully, Brenda being the cat mummy in the story, she she gets him to regulate through saying, do you know what, you can borrow my nervous system for a little while and let's sit together. And that's how it, you know, she notices exactly he's distressed. And instead of reacting with, because we do sometimes as parents, when we react, we say, oh, what's wrong? I need to fix it. Sometimes there isn't anything to fix. We just need to stay calm and think, right, let's go and just sit and be. And it's interesting how powerful that can be sometimes. So I wanted to draw attention to that core regulation as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. And you do it so seamlessly as well. I think that's again another reason that really drew us to Binky and Mango, as you say, that relationship, the dynamics, and the story that you so beautifully have written. Moving on into the illustration style and
Mm.
bringing your beloved dear characters to life. How did you find that process and seeing them come to life and your words being made real, if you like, on the page and just being brought to life?
Yeah, it it's quite a surreal process, isn't it? When you go from
Yeah.
something in your head and suddenly it's on paper, it's in color. Um, and I'd love to take credit for doing the illustrations myself, but I absolutely didn't. And anybody who looks at the picture at the beginning of the story of me and my grandmother, I actually drew that. So you'll understand why I asked the lovely Jenny to do the pictures for me. But yeah, it's an absolutely surreal experience, but amazing at the same time, isn't it? That you can just see a whole world opening up in front of you. Um, and it one of the things I didn't anticipate when writing this book is almost as if the characters take on a life of their own.
Mhm.
It's really they become their own entity, and then you're just the director, aren't you? So yeah, it's quite
Okay.
bizarre seeing something coming to life. Yeah, it's quite a special experience.
What I would say, even from our aspect, so they are beautifully done. Like, so from a child's perspective, reading, we're so blessed. Like, they're extremely real, like 3D-esque. Like, there's a lot of colour, the vibrancy. So, for a child being able
Mm.
to read and flick through, like, they are just so beautiful and so colourful and so vibrant. So, yeah, we absolutely fell in love with them from the get-go. I think that reassuring tone, the illustrations, it just all helps with the book's development and how children will pick Binky and Mango up. And it's
Yes.
becoming a firm favourite. Children are absolutely
Mm.
loving it. So the evidence is now going to show that, well, yes, we're absolutely loving it. Um,
Mhm.
since sharing Binky and Mango with readers, um, what is the kind of reaction and feedback? As I say, it's becoming a firm favourite, but has it been so lovely
You
for you
know,
to kind of have that reaction?
it has. So, I mean, last year I did a series of author visits, and we visited, I think, I think it was about 400 children that actually listened to the stories, but again, which is quite surreal. But we went around different schools, and the children seemed to just
Yeah.
embrace them completely. And I could hear some of them talking, saying, "Oh, look, I'm like Mango, you're like Binky." They were identifying and seeing themselves in these characters. But the other thing is that we did, I actually had little puppets made, and I have left them upstairs in the bedroom. I so wish I'd brought them down now to show you to, but maybe on the next podcast that would be great. But I
Will
had
do.
two little puppets made specially, crochet puppets, and they stole the show. It was almost I think the children actually forgot that I was there reading the story. It just became about the puppets, and I had to take the puppets around every single child so that they could stroke the puppets
Cool.
before we left. They absolutely loved them.
Mm.
And even like on World Book Day, my son and his friend went dressed as Binky and Mango. And in some of the schools around here, they're almost like they're just well known and famous now because we run a competition. I think it was around World Book Day, and there was about 150 children that entered, and all they had to do was draw a picture of Binky and Mango together in a scene that they thought they would love. And some of the picture, well, they were all absolutely amazing. And I couldn't get over how some of them had the likeness down
Wow.
to a T. They were really good. But some of the ideas were, yeah, they were phenomenal. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've had a lovely reaction with that. So
It's incredible. I feel like
yeah.
people listening to this, if they are new to writing or they feel inspired or encouraged to write or indeed publish their work and really want that experience, I think you've had such
Mm,
a wonderful opportunity that is still ongoing. That having that reaction, it just
mm,
there's moments, isn't there? There's moments in time that just make everything completely worthwhile, and it's like this is
yeah.
what it's about. And having that interaction is just
Mm,
so brilliant. Um, Now that Binky and Mango have found their way into readers' hearts, as we know,
mm,
um,
mhm.
can you give us any hints about what adventures, challenges, or life lessons that they might encounter next? You did just give a little hint away in regards to maybe the next podcast. There is
Oh, yes, I did, didn't I?
some exciting news, if you like,
Yeah.
coming soon. There's just the demand. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess any kind of hints there?
So yeah, there is a second one. Um, and some people may be aware if you've looked on Amazon or anything that there is a second book that's been published in first edition for quite some time, and it came out. Oh, I wonder, maybe in December of last year. Because it's a Christmas story. So yeah, so it has been published for a little while, but we wanted to make again just raise the profile a little bit. So obviously Magic Moon has now agreed to take really good care of Binky and Mango A Christmas Tale. So that is coming soon, very, very
Very
soon.
soon. Very
Um
soon.
and the theme of that one is slightly different. Well, it's changed, but it really looks at how Mango struggles around Christmas. And that he does love Christmas, but sometimes, and I think we can all relate to this, and sometimes perhaps we don't say it, but
Mm,
Christmas can be loud, it can be busy, the expectations around Christmas change, and that can be really, really
mm,
overwhelming and overstimulating, not just for children, but for adults as well. And I'm sure we can all relate. So, yeah, it's a story just demonstrating how sometimes the busyness of Christmas can change children's behaviour
mm,
because it does disrupt their routine. And it just, again, just gives a little gentle solution
mm,
um, or strategy then to help reduce that overwhelm at
mm.
Christmas. So, yeah, that's
You've
the next.
indeed,
Have I given too much away?
without giving too
Given too
much
much
away, you've
away.
done very well. I think,
Mm,
yes, this is, we read it and we was like, it's needed. we're yet to read a book that really identifies a solution like it has and call it
Mm,
out and share it like that. So, yeah, very needed. I would say those listening and watching, definitely keep your eyes out for the second installment. And I guess I'd like to ask you before we wrap up today,
mhm.
a child or a parent, if they was to go and read Binky and Mango tonight, for example,
Yeah.
what would you what would you like them to take away from the book, I guess? What would you like that kind of moral or that message to be?
Um, I think if we think of it, maybe the characters giving a little message, do you think? Should we do it
Mm,
like that? Yeah.
yeah.
So I think the message, I think that so Binky would say is the change is really, really exciting. You gotta give it a go. And what's the worst that can happen? Whereas Mango would say, slow down, change can be a little bit scary, but um with a nice deep breath
Mm,
and trusting your adult and your grown up, um, then it can actually be a really exciting thing and wonderful things can happen.
yeah,
And I think Brenda, and we have to include Brenda
we do
in
have to
this
include
because
Brenda.
she plays a big role. Not that I'm forgetting the little boy Bobby,
Yeah.
but maybe in future stories he'll have a bigger role. But I think Brenda would say, if your child is struggling with emotions, then sometimes you don't need a big toolkit.
Mm.
Your presence is enough.
That is special. I think, yeah. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? And you
Yeah.
teach that a lot in your writing. Yeah, that's incredibly wholesome. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Um,
Um, thank you. I feel anyone listening and watching and you want to connect with Connie, please do. Um, you're on socials. Just search
yeah.
Binky Mango, Connie Rey on socials. Instagram,
Yeah.
particularly, is a
Yeah.
great place to find you.
It's actually Gentle Stories by Connie.
Yeah, gentle story,
So
Connie.
yeah, yeah,
It's
that's how
special.
it is at the moment. Yeah.
It's so special, and I know that you're available for people to contact. We cannot wait for more schools to be reached. We cannot wait for the future of Binky and Mango. It's looking bright. It's looking very
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah.
And we will be back for a next installment to share more of the goodness of the world that you're creating. Um,
Hopefully on a cooler day though, Florence.
hopefully on a cooler day. We are in the midst of a heat wave in the UK,
Yeah, we
uh,
are.
in an office with no aircon. um,
We
but
are.
we survive. And honestly, it's an absolute pleasure to connect with you. Please do, I implore anyone who is listening and watching, pick up a copy of Binky and Mango. You will not regret it. If it's a gift for a friend or a family, with anyone who knows young children, they will take something from this. And as you rightly say, that wholesome, heartwarming feeling of your presence is enough. Um, thank you. Thank you so
And thank you.
much. Well, we will see you all again very, very soon. And Connie, we will see you again even sooner. Thank you. Bye for now.
Okay, bye for now.